Hey y'all, I'm coming here from the kitchen. Long time no see. All right, so tonight we're going to finish up our Chevron cups. And I got a great story to tell you. So y'all come on in and sit a spell. I told y'all I was going to be quick. All right, I told y'all I was going to be like super mega quick. Okay. So y'all come on in, sit a spell. I'm going to show you how to finish off your Chevron cups and tell you a super funny story. I told you I was going to be fast. Look, everybody's like, wow, that was fast. I was just in my group having a chit chat with my families, and so we're all coming together to finish up the chevrons. So while everybody comes in, I'm gonna measure out my epoxy and get it together. And so let y'all come in for a second. And so right now I'm just pouring equal parts of Pro-Marine. That's the epoxy that I use. I know I'm blurry. When I bend up and down, I get a little blurry. Just give me a second to get situated. Oh, it's crawfish tray. All right. All right, so welcome back to the crazy. Welcome. All right, so tonight we're going to finish up the two chevrons, and I got a story for you. And then I'm going to make a gumbo and a crawfish boil cup. So right now I'm stirring up my epoxy, which is Pro-Marine. That's the kind that I use. And this is the equal parts of Pro-Marine. So I'm just taking it for a second. So I'm trying to look at comments, but they go so daggum fast. So bear with me. And so in my group, we were just having a little chit chat. And what I was saying was when you're working on your cups, keep trying. Don't give up. Keep practicing on your cups. You will definitely get better and better. All right, I want you to look at something real quick. When you're trying to get your epoxy correct, if you look at this epoxy, it's still kind of got that milky color, okay? You want it to be perfectly clear. And see how it kind of has that jump off? You want it to not have any bubbles, and you want it to not jump off. So you want to keep stirring until you have it completely clear. No milky, no bubbles. Okay? So no milkiness, no bubbles. So I'm just going to keep kind of stirring, and I like to scrape the sides. Some people have epoxy mixers. I'm not really one for those because they don't really like scrape the sides or the bottoms, and they don't really get in there. God gave you these things. Or you can always get the Helping Hand 4000. And the Helping Hand 4000 does a great job. Let me show you how great the Helping Hand helps you. So if you want something extra, if you want to be extra about mixing. You can always use the helping hand for 1,000 to help you mix. Or if you want to be real extra, you can use the helping hand 10,000. And I know people are going to be like, where the hell do you get all these hands? Well, I'm good with my hands. You can get these from no. You just take it and stir it. So here is the helping hand 10,000 if you want to be extra and have a stirrer. So here is the introduction to the helping hand 10,000. Grams, Love All Bling, and Nolan Craft Culture will be carrying these any day now. I promise you. So this is our new helping hand 10,000 debut. Okay. So hello everybody. Y'all, the helping hands are just great. They're the best. I love my helping hands. If you like the helping hands, and you can give them a thumbs up now while you're waiting. And see, now it's crystal clear and no jump offs. How it just goes right back into your mix. And there's no bubbles. And if you want, you can let it kind of sit for a second. I usually do. Still got one little spot that's just not quite all the way clear. So I'm just kind of mixing it. My helping hand 6,000 is super great. All right. So to do the Chevron, to finish it up, what you're going to do is you're only going to paint your epoxy, okay, where there's obviously no glitter. Glitter is only going to stick where you put epoxy. So you're going to use the epoxy like glue. You can do it two ways. You can do it with your finger, or you can do it with a brush. Now, the problem with using your finger on this one is it's not as controlled. So the problem with using your finger is you won't get as close to the lines or as crisp as the lines. So I encourage you for this one to use a brush so you can get kind of crisp in the lines and make sure that you're really kind of neat with it, okay? It's very, very important that you kind of are meticulous about not getting any on any of the other colors so that you don't get it stuck anywhere else. Some of the glitter might get on this glitter, but all you're going to have to do is tap, tap, tap it. Like tap that cup and tap that cup and knock the glitter off, okay? On this cup, I'm going to be using Chunky Iridescent Fairy Dust from Cloud9 Glitter, okay? And on this one, I'm going to be using from Grams Caribbean Turquoise. And I already have some in a cup so that I could just kind of sprinkle it, because that one I could just sprinkle it. And this one I'm going to try and do the same. But I didn't take it out the bag because I forgot. All right. So here goes nothing. And while I'm patient, so I'm not going to be looking up as much. So this is the story time part, because I'm going to be painting. So I'm not going to be looking up as much. So this is where story time comes into play. So you're not just watching me in silence paint a cup, because that's freaking boring. All right, here we go. So the other day, my students, who are quite comical and say the funniest things, were having a lovely discussion. And so I happened to overhear their discussion and happened to start giggling at them. And so they decided to ask me a question that I found comical and amusing, to say the least. So I'm going to put the question to the masses. So one of my kids says to me, Miss Chauvin, you wash your legs? I said, what? Do you wash your legs? I said, do I wash my legs? What are you talking about? You know, do you wash your legs? I said, like, what do you mean, do I wash my legs? You know, do you wash them? So I'm giggling in my own little world, and I said, yes. Well, that's just a waste of time. I said, what? Miss Joanne, when you wash your head, the soap comes down and it washes your legs for you. So you could save all that time and just not wash your legs. I said, baby, you know, the soap that comes down from your body is dirty soap, right? No. So then they proceed to get into a debate on whether or not they all wash their legs and whether or not the soap is dirty from their legs. So now they are literally flabbergasted, completely floored and amazed that I waste all that time, you know, all like 5 minutes washing my legs. It was literally like a phenomenon to them. Can you believe that? So and so, Miss Chauvin washes her legs. And they were like, what? Are you serious? Miss Chauvin, don't you know that you could save they were like legit serious. Don't you know you could save all that time washing your legs? They were like so unbelievably serious. Miss Chauvin, you said you could save like 37 minutes a year if you just stop washing your legs. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know what I'm more disturbed by. Okay, so I painted that first layer and now I'm going to do the glitter. I don't know what I'm more disturbed by. The fact that you don't wash your legs, or the fact that you have calculated how many possible minutes that I could save in the tub or in the shower by not washing my legs. Like, I don't know what I'm more disturbed by. Okay, so to get the glitter off from the in-betweens, I just tap it. Okay? Alright. So now I'm going to move to the next layer. Literally, we're just like flabbergasted. Then they're like, well, what about your face? I said, what about my face? You wash your face? I said, yes. See, that's another 3 minutes. When you wash your head, it cleans your face. I'm like, baby, when you wash your head, you're just washing your head. And you're washing the nasty funk out of your head, not washing your face. No, you're doing it all wrong, Miss Joanne. I'm like, apparently, baby. So they are now feverishly calculating how much time I could now have extra in my life if I not wash my face and my legs extra. They are now feverishly calculating. And they're like, okay, so if you do a bath, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is just a hot mess. And they're like, I save 65. I'm like, this isn't a Geico commercial. Like, this isn't like I save 65 minutes a year by switching and not washing my face. Like, they were just like legit serious, like about how much time of my life I could get back by not washing my legs and my face. I thought, well, this is an interesting, lovely fact of life that we've got going on here. They're like, yep, you can save all the time. They're like, you know how many cups you can make, Miss Joanne, in 183 minutes of your life you could get back? I'm thinking, Maya, these poor babies are thinking that you could save all this time like you switching car insurances. So word to the wise is you could save so much of your life if you just don't wash your legs and let your hair wash your face. That was their brainstorm, and their aha moment was, I could save so much time of my life if I just wash my head only and let the whole rest, let the magic do the rest. I thought, goodness gracious. You gotta love kids. They say the best things to keep you on your feet. We were talking at my sister's house this weekend, and we were saying about what our kids say, and so I'll share with you something that Luke said to us, which was, so you just tap, 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 tap. And so there's the opal in the middle of that row. So a couple of weeks ago, we went to, so I'm using, for those of you who just tuned in, I'm using epoxy. I've got epoxy right here on the side. I know you probably can't see it because you're there. And I'm just going to stir it to make sure it doesn't set. And I'm just going to go at it. We got flown to Seattle. I won a cruise from Norwegian, and we got flown to Seattle to accept the award. And so this was the first time that we left Luke by him, not by himself, but we didn't take him with us on a trip or on a vacation, or like we've always done, family trip, family vacation, family date night. Like we have always taken him, and he's always been with us. So he's always been with us, and we've never left him by himself. So, with someone else for a couple of days. So when we were getting ready to leave, we told Luke, all right, well, listen, when we were packing, he said, well, where are we going? And we said, well, baby, we're going, me and Mama Cat, we're going to Seattle. Now, my son just turned 5, and he's a pretty smart dude, okay? For those of you who are fortunate to know Luke through the group, he's a pretty brilliant little boy, and he's got a lot of common sense and a lot of adult reasoning skills. So he's a pretty amazing little character, and he's basically my clone, if there ever was one. So Luke says, so we said we're going to Seattle, and on this trip it's just gonna be moms, okay? Just moms, no sons, okay? And he said, so he sat for a couple of seconds, and he kind of like looked with this, like, not grimaced look, but this like little perplexed look on his face. And he said, just moms, no sons? And I said, that's right, just moms, no sons. And he said, what the hell kind of trip doesn't allow sons? And Kat and I just both put our heads down, because we couldn't even compose ourselves to even look at him. Like we were just like, and I said, Luke. And he said, what? And I said, baby, I said, you can't say hell. That's an adult word. And he said, well, I think a trip with no sons warrants that word, Mom. And I said, son. And he goes, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to do all kind of son stuff. No moms. No sons. And he walked out the room so mad at life that he was just so, like, just mad at the world. So when we came back, I said, well, Bubba, did you have a good time with your nannies and your la-la? And, did you have a good time? And he goes, I did all kind of son stuff, and you can't see. And he had all these little drawings, and he would not let us see a single one. He goes, hope you had fun doing mom stuff. Like, mad at the world. I still can't see those drawings. So, lo and behold, all kind of son stuff. No mom stuff. So that was my punishment. But he is coming on the cruise with us. So he better be nice to me, because we're going to do a whole bunch of family stuff on the cruise. So I think he's going to appreciate the fact that we went to Seattle, because now he's going to get to see all kind of fun stuff. We've been teaching him how to talk whale and do all kind of silly things like that, so it'll be fun. So I'm just trying to dab these into the lines, and I'm sure there's a better brush or a brush that might fit like exactly in these lines, but I would reckon that if you use different size chevrons, you would use different size brushes. So I would imagine that this is a good enough brush. And this is just a cheap like craft sponge brush from Michael's. It's just a chinchy cheap throwaway craft brush from Michael's. So it's very you know, just a plastic chinchy one. You could probably rinse it out, but I would just toss it afterwards because it's really hard to get epoxy out of a brush. So, and I'm not even worried about spilling the glitter on top of the other colors, because like I said, the glitter is not going to stick where there isn't epoxy. So you can see that the glitter is not going over the other colors. Like, it's just going where I'm putting the epoxy. So, and now I'm just going to finish up this last section. And now I'm kind of going a little bit quicker because I kind of have a little bit better hand at it. And I'm kind of just dabbing it in the little holes just to make sure it goes where it needs to go. Well, this is actually quite perfectly the size it needs to be, because just when I push down like all the way on the brush, it is like the absolute size, meaning like it covers just the size of the width of the space. So I kind of lucked out. Except for that one little spot, because I got a little nervous. So, and for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm doing epoxy, Pro-Marine epoxy in these little spaces, in these little crevices, only where the glitter is not, and that's where the glitter is going to be, because that's where I want it. So it's really kind of common sense. All right, and then I'm going to do these little wedges in these little corners, like they're these little oh, wrong cup. These little like triangle wedges up here in the red, rather than like redo. All right, and this is the last layer of glitter. Praise the Lord of this color. And look, I'm going over the red. So I'm going to show you how much it doesn't stick to the other color because I'm trying to get like that wedge. So I'm going to show you how much it doesn't stick to the color that you did not paint. Okay, and you just tap, tap, tap. And then you can additionally tap it on its side if you want. And that's the end of it. So now it's all chevroned and glittered. And so now I'm just going to let this dry. So this is epoxy, glittered. I'm going to let it dry. I don't think this is the right one for this turner. It's not. Because I'm doing the gumbo cup over here, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to let this dry all the way before I put another coat of epoxy on it. So the only thing I find with the Chevron cup is it is time consuming. Because you have to do a layer, wait a layer, do a layer, wait a layer, do a layer, wait a layer. You know, like, it's time consuming. So that's the only thing that I find is it's very time consuming. But other than that, it's not quite so awful. All right. And now I'm going to do this one. This one I'm going to do a little bit faster because now I think I got a rhythm. So let me stir this. Let me make sure it's not getting hot. Let me stir this. And I think I got a rhythm going. So let me see if I do. I might not. I might get a little scared because this glitter is a little bit finer. So I got nervous. I got a little shaky right when I said I had a rhythm. I got a little nervous. So but you just have to like kind of jump in. I saw a couple of people say I'm still too nervous to try it, and then I also had a couple of people ask me a bunch of questions. I will tell you that this is my literally very first Chevron. I've never done one. So these are my learning curves. So a lot of you asked a lot of questions and I didn't have the answers right away. So forgive me if I didn't answer you right away. I didn't have the answers right away. I had to either get them or wait until I did the cup myself to kind of get the answer for you. So if I didn't answer you, that was why. Okay, now I think I'm in a rhythm. And then I get nervous. Because I want it to be like super, super crisp and perfect. And this glitter is like super fine. So, I need another plate. Hold on. Alright, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm just pouring it on there and praying that it does what I said and only sticks in the parts. I need more space. I want to see if that doesn't, if that's not in the way. So I'm just pouring it in just the spaces that are covered with the epoxy. You can definitely tell what spots you didn't cover and what spots you did. So make sure that you're not like stingy. That makes sense? Okay. Alright, so I'm going after it again. Alright, so this spot is a little bit too thick. Okay, so this is ultra fine turquoise from Grams. This is what I'm doing it in. I'm just going right along the edges because that's what I didn't do the last time. And I'm making sure I get right on the edges. So that was what the first one, I think I didn't get the edge, like right up on the edge enough. So I might even go over it twice to make sure. And then I would do the top edge and the bottom edge. So like go over the bottom with your brush too. Like get in the top and get in the bottom so that you have it in the top corner and in the bottom corner. Okay, I think that one's ready. And you can always go back with like a regular brush, like a, you know, like a regular paintbrush, and brush it out if you feel like it's gotten in your other glitter or you think it's, because like this is fine, so some of the fine got in the chunky or whatever. And you can always go back and like brush it out a little bit, just like you would do with like Mod Podge or whatever. See how it's coming out? Okay. And then you just go back over, doing it again. So I know I'm kind of like being a little anal about it, but I want to make sure that I get it on the right spaces. And a couple of people asked, where can you buy my cups? You can always message me through Instagram. You can message me through Facebook. You can message me through those two avenues. Um, and I am super excited because we are gearing up for our convention and the surprises that I have in store for my convention goers is a force to be reckoned with. I cannot wait. We'll be doing some YouTube lives from the convention. We have some big wigs coming in town from some pretty big companies. So I'm kind of excited about that. And we'll be doing some field trips. So, to some local companies that are worth visiting. So, I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we have partnered with Girl Spot, and we're going to be doing some other things. So it's going to be, I think, a great time had by all. So now I'm just going to pat, pat, pat. All right. So there's a few little spots that I didn't get that I can always like go back and kind of smoosh some epoxy over. I can just kind of mush it there and mush it there, and it'll pick up some of the glitter that I have, but then I can just re-glitter right there, the part that I didn't get, and then it covers that white space too. So see, covered that area. So I kind of rushed a little bit through that one, which I'll go back over the white spaces of that one in a minute. But I want to get that epoxy on these two, this gumbo and this crawfish bowl cup, because it's going to start to set soon. So I want to get those two going. But that's how you do the Chevron cups. Let me save that plate. So, before, dang it, I'm gonna have to see if I'm willing to risk it. I think I waited too long. Probably did. Ooh. Come on. All right. I'm regrouping real quick. Give me a second. Alright, I'm going to show you how to make something different real quick. Because I let my epoxy sit too long. How I know is because I just pulled that hard ass chunk out. And it's getting hot. Take a plastic tray. Pour your epoxy in that tray. How I clean my silicone cups. is I'll pour a little bit and I'll spin it like that and it'll dry, and then I'll just pull it out in the case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this go like this, all up in the plastic tray, and spread it. Let me find I'm looking for that's what I'm looking for. Hold on, I gotta think really fast. I gotta think so super mega fast, so just give me a second. More green, more green. All right. That's gonna serve as a whole. I know this is probably like the weirdest thing, but I can't stomach wasting epoxy. And I waited too long. So I'll just make another batch. So this little thing I put, okay, it's going to serve as a hole. Epoxy is going to go around it. And I'm holding it down so it doesn't move. And basically what I'm making is a stained glass window. To some degree. I'm going to spread this epoxy. Cover the whole tray. I'm going to put some alcohol ink in here. I'm going to heat it up. And then when it's done, tomorrow, I'm going to pop it out. And then it'll create this real pretty, like, faux stained glass window. Because that's what it'll kind of look like when it's finished. Just visualize for a second. I know it seems weird, but it's just not. It's just like putting it on a cup, except you're putting it on a tray, or putting it directly onto the epoxy. Then you're going to heat gun it a very little bit because it's already setting, so you don't want to burn it or yourself or your lungs or your eyes or whatever. And then you either want to take a popsicle stick or a toothpick or maybe nothing, whatever, and spread it. or marble it or swoosh it around or whatever. Okay. Learn a lesson not to waste. So here's my epoxy. Okay. I'm just going to kind of heat it up just a little bit. So at the end, when it's after it's set overnight, it's going to pop out like an ice tray. If that makes sense. And this will get all the bubbles out. And this will kind of get your epoxy moving. Just a little bit. And I can kind of see that it's kind of heated up a little bit. You don't want to stay on top of it because you don't want it to burn. But once you see it kind of loosen up, you want to get up off it. And then you can see it moving. And you want to bring it to the edges, just so it can kind of create a form. And you're going to move it to the edges. And then you might not even want to move it to the edges because you can always like cut it or whatever. But that'll be like really super mega pretty. So I don't want to pick it up because it'll move the little hole that's in the middle. Just kind of see it. And so when you hold it tomorrow, it'll have a hole in it. You tie a pretty little ribbon in it, and then you hang it in the window, and it'll create like a pretty little stained glass. So I'll show this on my Instagram, what it looks like in the window. I'll show it tomorrow. But this is what happens when you wait too long with epoxy. Wah, wah. So, but be inventive and creative. That's epoxy when it hardens. It gets super mega hard, super mega hot. That's it. Kind of looks like crystals. Could probably make a geode out of it, but whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna go back to my group now, so I can promise them something. Please give this video a thumbs up, and y'all have a good night. Be good to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Chevron because I don't want to take up too much of your time. And I will see y'all on the other side. Y'all have a great night.